I talked about this in a previous video, the duplicity of the Republican Party and how they want Donald Trump to be a mighty conquering warrior, a demigod, an unquestioning leader. He wants to rule the United States with an iron fist, but also he's just a little baby and it's cold in there. They want it both ways. And you can't have it both ways. Your guy is either the stalwart, mighty alpha male that you say he is, or he has been bested by a temperature in a courtroom, being suffered under the yoke of mental anguish, Tommy Tuberville says outside the courtroom. He's either has no self-esteem issues and is just wildly confident and competent, or he's a guy who, if you call him Mr. Trump rather than Mr. President, he can't handle it. I mean, all of these things can't coexist. Outside the courtroom yesterday, Tommy Tuberville, the most military man that ever lived, even though he never spent a day in uniform, who's coattailed his dad's service as though that somehow reflects on him. He's a coward, a physical and moral and ethical coward who laps at the boots of Donald Trump like a sycophant, like a lapdog, like just a disgusting retrobate. And here he is in this first clip. I've got two of him. And he's whining about Donald Trump being called Mr. Trump in court. There's no respect in there. That should be respect in that court. I mean, listen, people bitch that I do the Southern accent and I do it with kind of a pejorative tone, that I'm maligning people from this. And I'm not. But when this is the guy and this is the voice he's using, I mean, come on. It's ripe. It's ripe for imitation, for parody, for mockery. Watch Tommy Tuberville.
I want to reiterate the same thing. First of all, I'm disappointed in the courtroom. I'm hearing Mr. Trump. He is former President Trump. Give him some respect. I mean, that's what that place is in there. It's no respect. Here's what I'm seeing, too. It is depressing. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country. And we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in.
If that courtroom, Tommy Tuberville, is the most depressing thing you've ever been in, you've led a pretty charmed life, sir. You're certainly not the mighty military warrior you claim to be every time the military comes up in a topic. He continues, second Tommy Tuberville clip. Sorry for the inundating you. This is the one where it really rings hollow for the fact that they want Donald Trump to be this mighty, mighty warrior. They want Donald Trump to represent a Republican Party that prizes personal responsibility and pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and quit whining and just go ahead and do what you got to do. And yet he's complaining about mental anguish that's being foisted upon, just poured over Donald Trump's head like hot coals. Watch this and refrain from laughing and cackling with uproarious joy, because it's a doozy.
Respect. Here's what I'm seeing, too. It is depressing. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country. And we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the President of the United States this year.
Mental anguish? I'm so sorry, Donald Trump, the little baby. Is there anguish in your mental? Huh, Donald Trump? Maybe they're right, though. Maybe Donald Trump is just a stupid baby. Maybe he doesn't understand anything. Maybe Donald Trump is bereft of any knowledge or understanding of how things work. Here he is outside the courtroom whining about the judge's qualifications or capabilities or whatever. I mean, it's hard to understand. It's hard. I'm no interpreter for the moronic ramblings of a madman. But here he is complaining that the judge, Juan Merchan, is appointed. Just like the Supreme Court that he always rambles about loving. Watch this.
And you should go out and check it out. But we have a corrupt judge, and we have a judge who's highly conflicted, and he's keeping me from campaigning. He's an appointed New York judge. He's appointed. You know who appointed him? Democrat politicians. He's appointed. He's a corrupt judge, and he's a conflicted judge, and he ought to let us go out and campaign and get rid of this scam. Every single legal analyst, even CNN, even MSDNC, they're saying, there's no case here. Thank you very much.
Could someone, anyone, get to Donald Trump and try to give him a civics lesson? It could be elementary level. It doesn't have to be secondary education. It certainly doesn't have to be some graduate level course in dealing with the jurisprudence of the United States. Judges oftentimes at these levels, state levels, federal level, are appointed. And most concerningly, you would think Donald Trump would know this, having appointed tens, if not dozens, if not maybe hundreds of judges into the federal judiciary under the power of the presidency, including 3 Supreme Court justices. Are they unqualified because they're appointed, Donald Trump? And let's put a cap. I wasn't going to play this, but I'm playing it. Let's put a cap on this about Donald Trump. And not only is he a baby, but he is just a weakling, an abject mental weakling. The ego is just a false facade because he is the most insecure, pathetic loser of not even just of presidents. Just in general, you walk by people down the street and he invariably would be the most insecure, pathetic freak that you would encounter. Here's Lawrence O'Donnell from MSNBC describing what he witnessed with his own eyes in the courtroom. And it's Donald Trump, and you will not believe what it is he says he saw Donald Trump looking at, rather than paying attention to his criminal trial that's taking place before him. Watch this.
The Trump behavior as a defendant is the most absurd defendant behavior I've ever seen. First of all, there is the eye closing, which he now does about 10 minutes into the proceeding. And I think he's doing that to try to prove to us that he's actually not sleeping because it's only 9:40 a.m. But the eyes are closed for extended periods of time. The head starts to tilt. And then when he's not doing that, I actually saw him looking at photographs and I could see over his shoulder of what appeared to be crowds, possibly photographs of his rally this weekend, stuff completely unrelated to this case. And
that's pathetic. Donald Trump, rather than paying attention to the criminal trial happening, he's looking at photos that he's printed out. It's been reported he carries with him a printer so he can print shit out on the run. He's printing out photos of crowd sizes. It's his metaphoric penis pump is what it is. He wants to inflate himself and his ego. So he looks at, oh yeah, that was a good rally. Oh yeah. Ooh, that was a good one. That makes me feel real good. Donald Trump. Is this what we want? Do we want a weak-minded coward to be president of the United States again? Come on. I mean, I think even MAGA world at some point has to wake up and be like, man, this guy is pathetic. What a coward. What a weakling. He is certainly not worthy of respect. You give that man respect. He's a former President Donald Trump. Look at the crowd size photos. Oh, what have we done to ourselves? What do you think? I'd love to know. We can have a comment. We can have a comment off below. Disagree agreeably. I would hope we could do that. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can also email me, as always, the old email-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. If you'd like to support this work, I would invite you to do so for $1.99 a month. You can click the join button below, become a channel member, or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both those are great ways to help support the show. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. That is also a measure of support. And another way to support this channel is to stick around for this offer from my absolutely favorite underwear company. I know you're sick of hearing me talking about it, but that's okay, because one of these days you're going to buy them and then you'll let me know how much you agree. I have emails like that too. Stick around for a word from today's sponsor, Sheath Underwear. We are once again faced with a pivotal year. And while we don't have control over everything, we as individuals can affect real change. Am I talking about voting? Sure, of course I am. But I'm also obviously talking about underwear. In a world so rich with options, why would we ever settle for second-rate skivvies? My 2024 pick for Department of the Interior is Sheath Underwear. Sheath is the only underwear with a dual pouch system scientifically designed to keep your president separated from his cabinet. If you catch my drift. Come on, man. Invented by a U.S. Army veteran while serving a tour in Iraq, the idea from Sheath arose from discomfort in harsh environments. As a former Marine stationed in that part of the world, I get the inspiration. I wear sheaths every day. They're the only boxers that can agreeably accommodate my tree trunk thighs while also keeping my jewels carefully compartmentalized. While I'm not the only person choosing them, sheaths are recommended by multiple doctors and urologists and have over 20,000 five-star reviews. It's time to democratize your drawers. Head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore right now and score 20% off right away. I personally am an airflow mesh guy, but Sheath has tons of excellent styles and designs. And once you pick, Sheath will land them on your doorstep near instantly thanks to blindingly fast shipping and amazing customer service. Additionally, your purchase actually does affect positive change. Sheath supports multiple charities like Socks for Soldiers and Doctors Without Borders, so you're making positive choices for the world too. Upgrade your undergarments. Score 20% off right now when you head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore. Real change starts with you and your package.